All right, Lakers fans, listen up because things in Los Angeles are starting to heat up again. The season hasn't even fully hit its stride, and we're already talking about injuries, rotations, and roster fits that could completely change how this team performs down the stretch. And one of the biggest names in the middle of that conversation right now, Maxi Kleber. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. The big man who came in with a lot of hope, a ton of potential, but can't seem to catch a break when it comes to staying healthy. Now, here's the thing with Maxi. When he's on the floor, the guy does his job. He's not flashy. He's not the one putting up highlight plays every night, but he knows his role. He's the kind of player who spaces the floor, plays within the system, and gives you solid, reliable minutes. He's not trying to be a star. He's just trying to fit in and make the pieces work around him. And that's exactly what made his addition make sense when the Lakers got him. You pair him with a guy like Luka Doncic back in Dallas. There was chemistry there, pick-and-pop potential, spacing that allowed Luka to operate freely. So when Los Angeles got him, it felt like it could work out. He brought that versatility the Lakers needed. A big man who could stretch the floor, hit the occasional three, and open up different looks offensively. But here's the frustrating part. The guy just cannot stay healthy. The best ability in basketball isn't shooting or rebounding. It's availability. And right now, Maxi Kleber simply isn't available. He's once again out with an oblique strain, set to be reevaluated in about 2 weeks. And remember, reevaluated doesn't mean coming back in 2 weeks. It just means the medical staff will take another look and decide if he's ready. And given his injury history, chances are they'll be cautious, maybe even push it back further. The problem is, this isn't new. This has been the story for Maxi for a while now. The guy's been dealing with injuries for years. You look at his track record. After those early seasons when he was playing 70-plus games, it's been downhill ever since. 50 games 1 year, then 59, then 37, 43, 34. It's a pattern that just won't go away. You can't rely on him to stay on the court. You can't build rotations or chemistry when one of your rotation bigs is always in street clothes. And look, this is disappointing because Maxi's the kind of guy who, when he plays, gives you winning plays. He might not change the trajectory of the season single-handedly, but he's the type of player who helps you steal a couple of regular season games, maybe swing a playoff game when he gets hot from three. Those moments matter, especially in a tight Western Conference where a single win or loss can shift you from the 3rd seed to the 5th. But if he's hurt more often than he's healthy, all that potential just fades away. Now, here's the silver lining. His contract. He's on an $11 million expiring deal, which might not help the Lakers right now on the floor, but it could become valuable as the trade deadline gets closer. Expiring deals are gold in the modern NBA. They're the key pieces that can make mid-season trades work, especially with the new CBA rules tightening how teams manage the cap. So even if Maxi can't give the Lakers production on the court, he might still give them flexibility off of it. If I'm the Lakers front office, I'm already testing the market. See what's out there. Maybe there's a team that wants to get ahead of the curve. Make an early move before February. Package Maxi with a young player like Dalton Connect and a 2nd-round pick. Maybe that gets you something more usable, something that actually contributes this season. The goal isn't to chase a superstar. It's to get a guy who's healthy and can play consistent minutes. Because at this point, having someone you can depend on is better than someone who looks good on paper but spends most of his time on the injury report. And that's what makes this whole situation so tricky. You can see the value Maxi could have had. A stretch big who fits alongside LeBron and AD, who opens up the floor in those pick-and-pop sets, who can guard a few positions. On paper, he's perfect for this team. But in reality, he's been unavailable so often that it's hard to justify keeping him around when his salary could be flipped into a more reliable contributor. And he's not getting any younger either. He's 33 now, turning 34 soon, and history tells us players with chronic injury issues at that age don't suddenly become Iron Man overnight. If he comes back healthy and gives you a few good games, great. Maybe that boosts his trade value a bit. But the Lakers have to be realistic. The only real asset here is that contract. Teams around the league value that flexibility, and Los Angeles could absolutely use it to bring in a piece that fits better with the current timeline. Maybe someone like Matisse Thybulle, a defensive wing who can shoot the three and guard the perimeter. That's a position the Lakers have needed help in for a while. Thibault's not a perfect player either, but at least he fills a hole. At least when he's healthy, you know he's going to play and give you energy on both ends. That's what it comes down to, dependability. The Lakers don't need every guy on the roster to be a star. They just need role players who show up every night, who can stay in rhythm, and who can keep the team stable when the stars take a breather. You look at someone like Gabe Vincent, not flashy but consistent. He's there, he competes, and he's available. That's what makes a difference over the course of 82 games. And look, it's not like anyone's rooting against Maxey. Everyone knows the guy works hard, he cares, and when he's out there, he gives everything he has. But you reach a point where effort isn't enough if your body can't hold up. This isn't just bad luck anymore. It's a pattern that's defined his last few seasons. He got hurt in the offseason, came back, played a handful of minutes in preseason, and then boom, another injury. It's the same story every time, and that's what makes it so frustrating. Because imagine if he were healthy. The Lakers could have rolled out some really interesting lineups. Pair him with someone like DeAndre Ayton, and suddenly you've got two bigs who can stretch the floor and protect the rim. You could mix up your looks against teams like Minnesota, match their size, and still maintain spacing. That's the kind of flexibility that could have made a difference. But now, once again, it's all hypothetical. The Lakers can't afford to rely on hypotheticals. Not this season. The West is too deep, too competitive. Every game counts. And that's why, even if Maxey has value as a player in theory, his real value to this team right now is as a trade piece. You move him for someone who can actually suit up, contribute, and stay healthy. You can't have $11 million sitting on the bench in a hoodie while other teams are running full rotations. It's unfortunate because he's a likable player, a smart player, and someone who understands the game. He knows how to stay within his role, how to complement stars rather than compete with them. But the NBA is a business, and at the end of the day, availability matters more than potential. If you can't stay on the court, you can't help the team. And right now, the Lakers need help on the court, not on the injury list. When you look deeper into this Maxey Kleber situation, it really shows how fragile roster balance can be in the NBA. The Lakers came into this season hoping to build on continuity, to find stability after the roller coaster of last year. They made a few subtle moves, brought in complementary pieces, and the idea was to strengthen the rotation around LeBron and Anthony Davis without sacrificing flexibility. But then, a player like Maxey, who was supposed to be part of that balance, ends up sidelined again, and suddenly the team has to rethink its depth, its lineup combinations, and even its trade strategy months before the deadline. And this is where timing becomes everything. Because if the Lakers wait too long, Kleber's trade value could shrink even more. Teams around the league know his injury history. They're aware he's an expiring deal, but that's only worth something if the player attached to it can at least give a few solid games before the deadline. If he spends the next month and a half rehabbing, missing time, or struggling to find rhythm when he returns, you're looking at a situation where Los Angeles might only get pennies on the dollar. So, ideally, if he can get healthy, the Lakers might showcase him in a few games, let teams see that he can still move, defend, and hit a few shots. Then you flip him while the window's still open. Because the truth is, Los Angeles doesn't need another what-if story. The roster already has enough of those. There are already guys like Rui Hachimura or Jared Vanderbilt who've had their own ups and downs with availability. Adding another injury-prone player into that mix just creates more uncertainty. What the Lakers need is durability, dependability, and identity. They need players who can be counted on night after night, not ones who keep the medical staff busier than the stat crew. And that's what makes this situation tough from an emotional standpoint. Maxey's not a bad guy. He's not someone who's lazy or doesn't care about the team. Quite the opposite. He's known for being a professional, a guy who puts in the work, who's respected in every locker room he's been part of. But at some point, reality outweighs good intentions. If a player's body can't hold up through an NBA season, no amount of heart or work ethic can change that. It's just how the game works. If you're the Lakers, the question becomes, what's the smart move? Do you hold out hope that he'll stay healthy long enough to contribute? Or do you make a proactive move and turn that contract into a piece that fills a need? Maybe a wing who can defend the perimeter, maybe a guard who can run the second unit more effectively, or another big who can give you consistent rebounding and minutes without needing a full medical report every week. Because the clock is ticking, and the Western Conference doesn't wait for anyone. Let's be honest, too. The Lakers are in a spot where they can't afford wasted roster spots. Every player matters, especially when LeBron is in year 22 and still giving everything he has. The window for championships isn't infinite. You can't be holding on to potential when the goal is to win now. And for a team trying to build momentum early in the season, consistency from the bench is everything. That's what separates the good teams from the elite ones, knowing what you'll get every night. It's frustrating because the vision for Kleber made sense. A stretch big who can hit open shots, give spacing to LeBron and AD, help punish teams that pack the paint. On paper, it was logical. But paper doesn't win games, and every game he misses just reinforces how risky this fit really is. Fans are tired of hearing reevaluated in 2 weeks. They want players who are ready, who can stay on the floor and contribute to winning basketball. Another aspect of this whole situation is chemistry. The Lakers have had trouble over the last couple of years keeping their rotations consistent because injuries keep forcing Darvin Ham to adjust lineups. Every time someone goes down, the team has to relearn spacing, timing, and rotations. That constant shuffle prevents chemistry from developing. Players like Maxey, who are in and out of the lineup, unintentionally make that problem worse. And even if he returns by the time he finds rhythm, someone else might go down. It's an endless cycle. That's why trading him might be the best move for everyone involved. For the Lakers, it clears a roster spot and brings in someone they can use right away. For Maxey, it could be a fresh start somewhere else, maybe with a team that's not relying on him to stay healthy for heavy minutes. Sometimes a change of scenery helps both sides, and in this case, it might be the cleanest solution. Now, if we're being realistic, the Lakers probably won't rush into anything until they get a clearer picture of his recovery. They'll wait for that medical update, see how he responds, and decide from there. But if he comes back and plays a handful of decent games, even in limited minutes, expect his name to pop up in trade talks. Other teams looking for shooting and veteran experience might take a flyer, especially since his salary slot can make deals work financially. That's where Rob Pelinka has to be sharp. Use that flexibility before it expires. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling through Los Angeles and beyond, sending shockwaves across the NBA. Kevin Durant, one of the most prolific scorers of his generation, is reportedly set to sign a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation claim that discussions have progressed rapidly in recent days, hinting that the basketball world could be on the verge of witnessing a seismic shift in team dynamics and championship aspirations. Durant, who has spent the better part of his illustrious career moving between teams in search of the perfect fit, seems to be eyeing a fresh chapter under the bright lights of Hollywood. The Lakers, eager to reinforce their roster with superstar talent, could offer Durant both a competitive environment and the spotlight he has always commanded. Rumors suggest that conversations have revolved around more than just the financials. Sources hint at Durant's desire to join a team where he can have both freedom on the court and a strong supporting cast capable of making deep playoff runs. Fans on social media have already exploded with speculation, imagining what a Durant-Lakers pairing might look like alongside the team's existing stars. Analysts are buzzing over how this potential move could reshape the Western Conference, with rival teams likely recalibrating strategies to account for a lineup that could now feature one of the most lethal offensive forces in history. While the Lakers have a history of big-name acquisitions, few would have predicted that Durant might be next in line, adding fuel to an already intense offseason drama. Of course, the NBA world has learned to temper excitement with caution, given how quickly deals can stall or fizzle. Yet for now, the rumble of Durant donning purple and gold is enough to keep fans, pundits, and insiders glued to the rumor mill. If true, this would mark one of the most talked-about moves of the year, blending star power, ambition, and the eternal allure of Hollywood basketball glamour. As whispers continue to circulate, one thing is certain. The mere possibility of Kevin Durant in a Lakers jersey has already reignited conversations about dynasties, championships, and the unpredictable magic of the NBA. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.